They dug him up, dressed him in papal silk, and propped his 9-month-old corpse on a throne, because apparently the only thing worse than losing a power struggle in medieval Rome was missing your own trial. By the winter of 897, the Eternal City felt less like the heart of Christendom and more like a cage match refereed by angels who had stepped out for wine. Noble clans clawed for any scrap of divine legitimacy. Mercenary armies changed banners as easily as shirts, and popes rose and fell with the stomach flu. Into this turbulence stumbled Formosus, brilliant diplomat, occasional exile, and accidental lightning rod, who thought negotiating with Bulgaria was hard until he discovered Roman politics. His election in 891 thrilled exactly half the city and enraged the rest. Formosus had once been Bishop of Porto, and canon law frowned on bishops hopping dioceses. Enemies called that a mortal sin. Friends called it Tuesday. Still, he crowned the Carolingian prince Arnulf emperor, poking the powerful Spolitan family right in its ducal eye. The Spolitans waited. They knew popes die quicker than grudges. When Formosus expired in 896, his successor lasted a coma-length reign of 15 days, long enough to warm the chair for Bishop Stephen of Anagni. Stephen owed everything to the Spolitans and nothing to Formosan loyalists, which meant his first major papal policy would be equal parts revenge and theater. He ordered gravediggers to open the crypt of St. Peter's in the quiet hours before dawn, drag out the decomposing Formosus, and haul him, still dripping, across the cobblestones to the Lateran Basilica. Yes, you read that correctly. The corpse got a pretrial parade. Rome awoke to the stench of rot, mingled with incense. Clergy gagged behind censers. Nobles jostled for pews like gladiator fans. They dressed the cadaver in full pontifical regalia, ring and tiara included, but tied the bones together with string so the head wouldn't roll off mid-sermon. Because of course they did. One terrified deacon was assigned as defense counsel, obliged to answer questions on behalf of a skull whose jaw no longer hinged. Every time Stephen sneered, the deacon squeaked "Pater Peccavi" and immediately apologized for ventriloquizing a saint. The charges read like clerical mad libs: perjury, violating Canon 15 by switching sees, and worst of all, daring to rule while unpopular. Evidence? A letter Formosus once wrote, begging to be released from pastoral duty. Proof, said Stephen, that the man had never wanted the papacy and therefore stole it. Medieval logic could jump centuries in a single seance. Witnesses swore the corpse nodded in shame whenever Stephen barked, a detail suspiciously absent from later transcripts, but perfect for gossip. Audience participation turned savage. Some threw rotten fruit. Others lifted hands in mock blessing, echoing the dead pope's stiffened fingers. Sarcastic monks debated whether a skull could give absolution. Charming, pre-internet snark. But wait, it gets weirder. As the trial dragged on, summerflies hatched under the corpse's chasuble, swirling around the papal canopy like a heretical halo. Stephen took the cloud as divine confirmation and declared Formosus guilty on all counts. Verdict pronounced, sentence followed with medieval flair. They stripped off the vestments layer by layer, ripping ring and gloves like trophies from a fallen quarterback. Then came the symbolic mutilation. 3 fingers clipped, the ones that once conferred blessings, because nothing says righteous justice like post-mortem amputation. A gang of soldiers hauled the body outside, chained a weight to its ankles, and pitched it into the Tiber. Somewhere downstream, fishermen reconsidered bait. Fate, however, had a taste for slapstick. Spring floods spat the corpse back onto the riverbank where a monk retrieved it, swearing the remains felt lighter than wood, a miracle convenient for partisans. Soon, Formosan relics circulated faster than relic-grade scams, each sliver of bone a silent protest against Stephen's cruelty. Rome loves a pendulum. Public opinion whiplashed. Riots erupted. The Spolitan Duke lost his grip on the city, and Stephen lost the only kind of security medieval rulers recognized: armed friends. By August 897, crowds smashed their way into Castel Sant'Angelo, dragged Stephen from bed, and tossed him into a dungeon nicknamed the Saw. A month later, he was found strangled with his own chains, proving that in papal politics, what goes around really does crush the windpipe. 3 subsequent popes annulled the cadaver synod, re-annulled it, then re-annulled it, because ecclesiastical paperwork is forever. Formosus was reburied with honors, and his severed fingers got their own reliquary tour, achieving in death the global reach he never managed alive. The wider empire barely blinked. Frankish kings battled Vikings. Byzantine generals plotted against eunuchs. And somewhere a monk illuminated a manuscript about charity while his brethren plotted a land grab. Yet the cadaver synod lingered, not just as macabre footnote but as a warning. When sacred authority gets tangled with family vendettas, graves are merely filing cabinets waiting to be reopened. Medieval law believed a corpse could still be guilty. Modern headlines occasionally act like it still can. So the next time bureaucracy feels soul-crushing, remember, Rome once literally crushed a soul-free body to settle a paperwork dispute. And we keep telling ourselves history progresses in straight lines.